Good evening, dear friends of the internet, and those of us who are yet to meet. Welcome to my channel. Maybe it's the first time you've been here. I have been doing a daily portrait practice since the 1st of December, and everyone is invited to draw along with me. Today, we're going to be working from this amazing reference photo. We're focusing on shapes this month. This photo is of Emiliano Zapata. And just a couple days ago on Instagram, this amazing account was shown to me at History Cool Kids. And I've just seen a few of their posts in the last couple of days and some very interesting stuff there. Hallo, Cindy. And everyone else, 4 of you are already here. It was just a couple minutes ago I set up this live stream. 4 people are here. Please say hello. Let me know who's watching. And if you're watching the replay, you can also let me know that you're watching the replay. Let's get straight to this because people need to sleep in this house. So I have this Posca pen, which has not been used for a couple years. And there is, I'm very, very amazed by Jenny Adams, Ronky Ponk, who does really cool Posca stuff. And I thought the big shapes here will be super interesting to do with this pen. And then I was thinking about getting on the side of this little red pencil here. And I think it will be interesting. If anyone knows anything about Emiliano Zapata, who was a Mexican revolutionary leader, this photo was taken in 1914. Please let us know in the comments. It sounds very interesting. I have heard about the Zapatistas, but I had not really heard about Zapata. So this must be him. Hello, Uta and Martina. And in the comments as well, educate me. I've just read what History Cool Kids have told me about Zapata's successful peasant rebellion in central Mexico against the unjust accumulation of wealth by the small but powerful landowning class. And that was over 100 years ago. Sounds like today. Let's sketch, shall we? Tell me things. Tell me all that you know. So this will be interesting. Focusing on shapes. So this is going to be this has an incredible shape, and I've been wondering how can I use these pens, and I have not really sketched with them, though I do own them, but there are people who sketch with them to great effect, and I'm going to see what I can do today. And I am trying to focus on shape only sketching rather than line, although you could say that's a line, but it's a very thick line. And I still have not quite come to terms with what exactly I'm doing with this shape only practice, but I think this is definitely a shape. And this is not traditionally the way that I would start a sketch. Hello, Mr. Horror Dude. I was like, Horror Dude, Mr. Horror Dude, welcome to our sketching session together. This is also a kind of untypical image compared to a lot of the like pure portrait stuff that we've been doing here, because it's a whole torso. But I thought there was something really compelling about the character and the whole image and all the shapes and how they interact and this incredible moustache, and there's just so much interesting stuff going on. So I thought it would be interesting to expand beyond the pure portrait. I did do full body drawing of my parents on their wedding day. So it's not the first piece where we've moved out beyond the pure portrait, but untypical, I would say. A lot of what I do it's all portrait. I'm wondering things. I'm wondering how much. What do I leave white? Like obviously the white of the shirt is the whitest, and there's this bling hanging here, which is really bright. But since I'm using a really bright color for the surrounding area, it's like slightly confusing to me, but that's okay. I'll get by. What's everyone else working with today? I draw horror? Not really. Do you, Mr. Horror Dude? Um, I have drawn, when I look back at some sketches that I've done from dreams that I've had, some of those are kind of like, could be considered horror themes. I've recently been looking through some of my old sketchbooks where when I was from about almost 20 years ago, I'm now 42, I was traveling around and sketching from my dreams. And around that time, like there was some pretty interesting stuff that I was drawing from my dreams. All right, so now I've got this stuff, this acrylic paint. These, I was going to ask, did I ask? Do other people use these Posca pens for sketching with? So I've got some really big shapes here now. Oh, you will have to follow me, Mr. Horror Dude, because I don't know where it is right now. I would have to go searching. Maybe I would do like a sketchbook tour of some of my old stuff. Something I've been thinking about doing, but right now I'm not sure. And this is going to be a somewhat brief live stream. Hello, Klaus. All right, so what do I do now? I'm going to I want to use the broad side of the pencil here. So I'm still thinking in terms of big shapes rather than lines. That's what I'm trying to do. Do people here know much about the Zapatistas? Because I want to learn things. I don't know a whole lot about Mexico, though I'm sure it must be an amazing place. Full of amazing people. And just amazing country and land. Amazing part of the planet that we get to live on. Oh, those are lines, aren't they? But if I go like this, then I've just been setting up my shape. Blurry. Leo Fardenfish, you're late. I am early. There we go. That's still a bit blurry, isn't it? I guess I'm trying to zoom in further than this lens wants to let me. Those pens are gigantic. Correct. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe, it's 8mm. So almost a centimeter is the chisel tip of these pens. This almost looks like a glue stick, but it's not. They have a nib like this, and it's acrylic paint, actually, which is interesting. Hi, Gabriela. Who am I drawing? I am drawing Emiliano Zapata, who, this photo was taken in 1914, was a Mexican revolutionary leader. That is who I am drawing. And yeah, I saw this old illustration of a cat riding a horse, and it was I can't remember, someone shared it to their stories, and it was shared by History Cool Kids, and then I shared it with a friend, and then I followed them, and now I see these cool, I like vintage photos, I like history, I like cool kids and interesting people to draw, and there is a wealth of interesting images to draw from on this Instagram account. So we can be looking forward to some history cool kids in the future. But I like drawing portraits mostly. I have not played Little Nightmares. I used to play I'm presuming that is like a game that one can play with the computer, perhaps, or perhaps it's some other kind of game. You could tell me about it. But I used to really enjoy playing games, Xbox, Nintendo back in the day, and when I started traveling, I just kind of stopped playing, and then traveling kind of in a roundabout way led me to realize, oh, I'd really like to draw. And since I draw a lot, that takes most of my time. So I spend most of my time drawing these days, not so much time playing. But I know there are um, incredible games out there. The creativity and the worlds created, pretty amazing stuff. Um, Hello, Nana. Yes, very important. The Zapatistas are very important for Mexican history. It's a shame It's a shame my knowledge is better. You mean it's a shame your knowledge isn't better? Um, I cannot draw little nightmares unless it's my own little nightmares. But I haven't had nightmares for a long time. I have had encounters with vampires and people with their heads um, only slightly attached, and giant mushrooms that suck in blue magic, and all sorts of interesting dreams. But I wouldn't really call them nightmares. They're just like kind of incredible, like these dreams have been like, whoa, what is happening? And it was never really like, I don't know, unsettling or terrifying. It was just like amazing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure if I saw a thing, and if little nightmares is something that I could look up right after this live stream and be like, oh, that, then I could probably draw that thing. But as of yet, I do not have a particularly clear idea of what it is. So this is, I feel like using the broad side of the pencil like this, I'm still playing within my shape idea, the this concept that I've kind of set up for this month. And I really like the way the pencil is interacting with this paint shape is really cool. Just to like start with a big shape and then put something on top of it. What's the hardest thing to draw? Wait a minute. Everyone can answer this question. Um, Coma, you feel like you're learning just by watching me. That is amazing. Watch watch all the time. Come back and keep learning, keep watching. It is fun to draw and learn together. Um, Hello, Overeen. Hello, Tommy. Hello, Linda. Um, Hardest thing to draw? Probably my wife. It's not a thing, but I have had the most difficulty. I feel like the hardest challenge drawing her, and I feel like I can draw people. And a couple of years back, I filmed I had an interesting question put to me because I film monthly tutorials, and I asked my Patreon supporters, what would you like me to film a tutorial about? And Jane said, could you make a tutorial about drawing people that you can't draw? And I was like, well, I used to not be able to draw Kira, who now I have been spent a large part of my life with. And I was like, I used to not be able to draw Kira, and I will film this tutorial addressing the fact that I used to have a hard time. And I sat down to film this tutorial, and I must have drawn like 8 different versions, and it was so hard. It was so hard. I just found it incredibly hard to draw Kira. Um, But if we're talking about just things in general, a large part of what I've been doing the past years is this idea of observational drawing and just looking at things and trying to figure out how I can draw those things and make them understandable to myself. And I kind of feel like there's no particular thing which is the hardest to draw. It can be hard to draw things that are not clearly defined, but then it's an interesting challenge of like, how do I draw something where I can't really see exactly what it is that I'm drawing? And that could be like, in case of a portrait, it could be like low lighting situations, can be really tricky, where there's like not a strong contrast. Here is an orange pencil. And laughing and crying. Yes, it was so hard, so hard. And I was like confidently thinking, I used to not be able to draw Kira, but now I can draw anyone. I have refined my powers of drawing over the years, and now I can pretend not to be able to draw someone, but I was humbled. And I also had the feedback from people who watched that tutorial that it was really interesting to see me really struggle, and struggle I did. All right, this is like the shapiest part of what I'm doing. And I feel like I could almost wrap this up in a bit. This one's pretty brief, and I've enjoyed the past couple of days kind of keeping it brief. But I wonder what I can do. Like I crave a bit more contrast, so I'm gonna grab this blue and still use like the flat side. And it could be interesting, just like the layered colors. I'm live streaming portrait practice every day, and I have a Discord server and people can join it, and I share the references there. You get the reference first on the Discord server, although sometimes it's just a couple minutes before the live stream that I decide who we're going to draw. And it's really great seeing people's work. So I'd love you to share it on the Discord server and or on Instagram if you are there. And I've been telling people, because since yesterday, I just mentioned it over on Instagram as well, that my latest tutorial is out for Patreon, so you can find the link in the description below to visit my Patreon and learn together with me. And you can also come here and hang out and sketch with me every day. That would be a fun thing to do, because I like drawing people. I like people. I like hanging out. I like creating things together. And I also monobot. That sounds familiar. Portraits of people that look like a celebrity. That's a challenge. That is a challenge. If the world knows what this person's supposed to look like, like if everyone has a kind of concept, if I'm sketching Emiliano, who I only saw for the first time today, and I don't have a clear idea of how this person looks, then I can just kind of sketch, and it's like, oh, even if it doesn't really look like them, it's still kind of an interesting drawing. And I'm just craving a little bit more detail. So just to wrap this up, I'm going to go on point in the portrait. Hang on, what was I just about to say? Linda just asked, am I in the Mastering Mixed Media Taster Sessions? I am. Is my painting? I have a painting here somewhere. I'll be writing out to you, and sharing it on Instagram very soon. But here's a little sneak peek. This is the portrait I painted for the Mastering Mixed Media Taster Session. And a dear friend of mine said that pencil and watercolor is not mixed media. And I was like, well, it's two different things, so I think it is. And that is the painting that I did. And that's what you've got to look forward to, Linda. All right. So I spent most of the time going for the shapes, but I just such a little portrait that I want to have a bit more definition here. So I'll just wrap it up by getting on point. There's just so many great faces, interesting people, interesting history. There are cool. If you have like Instagram account recommendations for me, please share them with me. There is also on the Discord server, there's a resources conversation where people share. I have shared a bunch of interesting Instagram accounts, and other people have as well, because everyone's always looking for something cool to draw, and especially me, and I'm looking for cool things to share with everyone. So cool people, cool photos, let me have it. Superhero of the pencils. Coma struggles with drawing everything. That's an exciting state to be in, because there's so much to learn, and you can draw everything, you can draw anything, and if it's a struggle, that's like exciting, because it can be a drawing of a chair or of just stuff on the table, or it can be someone's face. But if you're just looking at shapes and the way things fit together, and you just kind of experiment with it, if you don't expect it to be great, there may be a hope that it could become so. But I think having no expectation of greatness is a very kind of there's a lot of potential in there. So if it's hard to do everything, then just go for it, and I'm sure interesting things will happen. This was kind of interesting. You can put, if you've made it all the way to the end of this live stream or the recording, you can put a drawing hand emoji in the chat. And I'll just... hair and legs and stuff. What's the hardest thing to draw? Hair and legs and stuff. Interesting. So if we're talking about the body, and I was talking about hair on the weekend, and what was the quote? Drawing hair as a gateway to understanding complex shapes. That hair can be really tricky to draw, but there's a way to break it down just into abstract shapes. And basically anything, if you look at it in terms of abstract shapes, like this big bold moustache and this shape, like this doesn't, it's all shapes. And if you learn to look at things in terms of shapes, then you can start to figure out ways to draw it, even if it's incredibly complex. Could I say what pencils I'm using? Yeah, these are Polychromos pencils, but I started with this, which is the 8mm Posca pen. And look at that big shape I started with. It was fun, very different. I'm not sure about what's going on here, but it was really interesting to work with. I am everywhere. Ulverine, thank you. Yes. So I'll be sharing about this very soon, that I have been invited as one of a whole bunch of amazing artists who are contributing to this Mastering Mixed Media taster session. A whole lot of people there. And this is what I did, which will be coming out in the coming days. I'll let you know about it. I'll post on Instagram tomorrow, and to my mailing list and stuff. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you again tomorrow. Send me your cool, interesting, historical, known, unknown, wonderful sources of material for people to draw from, and join the Discord server because it's really cool. I'd love to see your work over there. And yeah, Patreon, my latest Patreon tutorial. We do these 3 portraits. Oh, who's this? And you can do them. You can make these with me. Sketching in watercolor is the theme of the tutorial on my Patreon. The link is in the description. See you.